Lewis Hamilton qualified fourth for Ferrari in Monaco. Then Ferrari's computer system failed. Now he starts seventh after a costly penalty. Lewis Hamilton received a three-place grid penalty for the Monaco Grand Prix after impeding Max Verstappen during qualifying. The Ferrari driver qualified fourth, but will start Sunday's race from seventh position, following the steward decision. The incident occurred during Q1 when Verstappen approached Hamilton's slow-moving Ferrari up the hill toward Massenet. Hamilton was on a slow lap and initially positioned off the racing line as he approached turn 2. Verstappen was on a push lap when he encountered the obstruction. Ferrari's race engineer Riccardo Adami first correctly informed Hamilton that Verstappen was approaching on a fast lap. Hamilton moved to the left side of the track, staying out of the racing line. The communication breakdown followed when Ferrari sent a second message, stating that Verstappen was slowing down when he was actually maintaining his push lap pace. Hamilton explained the root cause after qualifying. Basically, there was some sort of issue with the computer screen. So, it said that Max was on the lap, and then it disappeared and said he wasn't. The technology failure created confusion that Ferrari's pit wall then communicated to their driver. Acting on the incorrect information, Hamilton began accelerating and moved back toward the racing line. This decision placed him directly in Verstappen's path as the Red Bull driver approached turn 3. Verstappen had to react quickly to avoid Hamilton, forcing him off his usual racing line and aborting his qualifying lap attempt. The stewards conducted a thorough investigation after the session. They reviewed positioning and marshalling system data, video footage, timing information, telemetry data, team radio communications, and in-car video evidence. Both drivers and their team representatives provided testimony during the hearing. The stewards' analysis revealed critical details about the incident. They carefully examined Verstappen's racing line from previous laps at the same circuit location. This examination determined that Hamilton had indeed entered the racing line that Verstappen used during his previous push laps. The evidence put it beyond doubt that car 1 was impeded, according to the official statement. Hamilton's immediate reaction on the radio demonstrated his frustration with the communication error. "You said he was slowing down. Fuck sake man." The 7-time world champion expressed his displeasure at receiving incorrect information from his team during the crucial qualifying phase. The stewards acknowledged that Ferrari's incorrect message led directly to the incident. Hamilton accepted during the hearing that his team's communication error caused the impeding situation. However, the stewards applied established precedent in their decision-making process. The stewards stated this in their official verdict. As with previous incidents of this nature, where a driver has received inaccurate or incomplete information resulting in a car impeding another, the fact that the radio message was the cause of the impeding does not amount to a mitigating factor. The penalty follows Formula One's standard approach to qualifying incidents. Teams bear responsibility for providing accurate information to their drivers, but communication errors do not excuse the physical act of impeding another competitor. The stewards imposed the standard penalty of a 3-place grid drop without adding penalty points to Hamilton's license. Verstappen showed understanding of Hamilton's position after the incident. Verstappen said this to media. "You see the car blocking you, and at high speed it's not nice, let's say. But then I saw immediately that the team told him that I was driving slowly, while I was clearly driving fast, so it's not Lewis' fault." The Red Bull driver acknowledged Ferrari's mistake, while maintaining that precedent required a penalty. "I quickly chatted to Lewis about it already. That's the team's mistake," Verstappen said. However, he added, "If you look at the history of things, yes, it should be a penalty, but it's more the team's fault. But normally in qualifying they are quite strict on these things." Hamilton defended his actions during the incident. "I think I was doing a good job of staying out of the way of everyone, but then the team said Max was on a fast lap, so I was to the left. Then they said, no, he's not on a fast lap. I was just about to get back on power. I accelerated for 10 meters. I was off the line, but for sure distracting him." The penalty significantly impacts Sunday's race strategy. Hamilton drops from 4th to 7th on the starting grid, while Verstappen moves up from 5th to 4th position. Racing Bull's rookie Isaac Hadjar and Aston Martin veteran Fernando Alonso also gain one position each on the grid. Monaco's circuit characteristics make grid position particularly important. Overtaking opportunities are extremely limited on the narrow streets of the Principality. Starting from 7th instead of 4th creates a much harder challenge for Hamilton to score significant points. The incident highlights the critical role of technology in modern Formula One. Teams rely heavily on computer systems to track competitor positions and provide real-time information to drivers. When these systems fail, the consequences can be immediate and costly. Hamilton has faced adjustment challenges since joining Ferrari from Mercedes. The SF25 car handles differently from the machinery he drove for 12 years with his previous team. I think it's a much different car driving here compared to what I've had the last 12 years. But one I really enjoy driving, Hamilton said. His teammate Charles Leclerc demonstrates the advantage of familiarity with Ferrari systems and car characteristics. He hits the ground, and he knows it like the back of his hand, Hamilton said. The learning curve continues as Hamilton adapts to new procedures and communication protocols. The weekend presented additional challenges for Hamilton. He crashed during FP3 at the same Massenet corner where the qualifying incident occurred. Despite the setback, he recovered to qualify 4th, marking his best starting position of the 2025 season with Ferrari. Hamilton said, "I will say this weekend has been a steep learning curve, but I was quite happy with the recovery from the crash." The crash complicated his preparation for qualifying, making the eventual 4th place result more impressive before the penalty application. Ferrari's communication systems require refinement to prevent similar incidents. The computer glitch that showed conflicting information about Verstappen's lap status created the foundation for the subsequent radio message error. Teams must maintain reliable technology to support their drivers effectively. The steward's decision reflects Formula One's commitment to consistent rule application. Individual circumstances and fault attribution do not override the physical reality of impeding incidents. This approach maintains competitive fairness while holding teams accountable for their operational performance. Lance Stroll received a similar 3-place penalty for impeding Pierre Gasly during the same qualifying session. The Aston Martin driver's penalty demonstrates that communication errors affected multiple teams during Monaco qualifying. Stroll's situation involved confusion about multiple approaching cars and difficulty identifying vehicle colors due to sun position. Oliver Bearman also received a penalty, dropping 10 places for a red flag breach during practice. The Haas rookie's penalty affected the final grid positions of other drivers, including Stroll, whose additional penalty had no net effect on his starting position. The penalties create ripple effects throughout the grid. Verstappen benefits from Hamilton's penalty by moving up to 4th position, placing himself alongside Oscar Piastri on the 2nd row. This positioning improvement could prove crucial for championship points in Monaco's processional race format. Hamilton's penalty adds to Ferrari's challenging start to the 2025 season. The team has struggled to match the pace of McLaren, Red Bull, and other competitors. Poor qualifying results compound their performance deficit, making strong race results more difficult to achieve. The incident exposes the delicate balance between team communication and driver decision-making. Drivers must process information rapidly while maintaining awareness of their surroundings. When communication fails, drivers face impossible choices with immediate consequences. Modern Formula One demands seamless integration between human judgment and technological systems. The Monaco incident demonstrates how quickly situations can deteriorate when this integration breaks down. Teams invest heavily in communication technology, but human error remains a persistent challenge. Verstappen's qualifying performance was ultimately unaffected by the incident. He progressed through all 3 qualifying sessions and secured a strong grid position. The penalty actually improved his starting position, demonstrating how stewarding decisions can create unexpected advantages. Hamilton's adaptation to Ferrari continues amid these setbacks. His previous race at Imola showed progress with a 4th-place finish. I definitely feel the last race was a really good step. And then coming into this weekend, I've definitely felt more at one with the car, Hamilton said about his ongoing development. The Monaco Grand Prix presents particular challenges for Ferrari's strategy. Starting from 7th position limits Hamilton's options for gaining positions during the race. The team must execute perfect pit stop strategy and capitalize on any opportunities that arise during the 78-lap race distance. The incident serves as a reminder of Monaco's unforgiving nature. Small mistakes or miscommunications can have outsized consequences on the narrow circuit. The blind corners and elevation changes create additional challenges for drivers trying to avoid conflicts during qualifying. Formula One's penalty system aims to balance multiple considerations. The stewards must weigh driver intent, team responsibility, and competitive impact when making decisions. The Hamilton penalty reflects their commitment to maintaining consistent standards regardless of individual circumstances. The technology failure at Ferrari raises questions about backup systems and redundancy in team communications. Modern Formula One teams typically employ multiple layers of technology to prevent single points of failure. The Monaco incident suggests these systems require continuous improvement. Hamilton's penalty changes the competitive dynamics for Sunday's race. Starting from 7th position places him behind both McLaren drivers, Verstappen, and other competitors. Recovery will depend on race strategy, pit stop execution, and potential opportunities created by safety cars or other incidents. The stewarding decision reinforces the principle that drivers remain responsible for their actions regardless of team input. This approach protects competitive integrity while acknowledging the complex relationship between drivers and their support teams. The precedent established by similar penalties ensures consistent application of regulations across different situations and competitors.